Hello, my name's Loretta, and I'm 77 years old. That's right, 77, and I'm a fan of the booth. Sinister One, Keith Hayes. That's right, my favorite. He's like a adorable Sammy Davis Jr., but for the new age kids. And everybody that loves sports, because I love all that New England sports. The Boston Celtics, the New England Patriots. I don't even give a damn about the Jets or the Giants.
Actually enjoy treating your customers like a piece of shit, because that's how I felt when I went to the Alamo Draft House. Okay? You know what? I didn't know that I wasn't supposed to text in your little crappy-ass theater. It was too f***ing dark in that place for me to find my seat, alright? I was using my phone as a flashlight to get to my f***ing seat. So excuse me for using my phone in USA, United States of America, where you are free to text in a theater. I was not aware that I couldn't text in your theater, all right? I've texted in all the other theaters in Austin, and no one ever gave a fuck about what I was doing with my fucking phone, all right? And it was on silent. It wasn't on loud. It wasn't bothering anybody. You guys obviously were being assholes to me. And I'm sure that's what you do, you know, to rip people off. You take my money, and then you throw me out. You know, I will never be coming back to your Alamo Draft House or whatever. I'd rather go to a regular theater where people are actually polite. And, you know, I'm going to tell everyone about how you are. And I'm pretty sure you guys are being on purpose. So thanks for making me feel like a customer. Thanks for taking my money.
Deadass. Serious. I would hate me too. Look at me. Think he the shit. This nigga don't even crease his Air Forces. What the f***? Shut the fuck up. You lying.
If we're honest, who wants to roll less travel? It's harder to teach us who wants to route.
If you support safety in our schools, you will support the National Guard to come in here and keep our students safe.
People say, these students have changed. These students are lazy.
Your children aren't learning disability, they lazy.
Get students engaged so they don't want to skip class, so they want to be in their classrooms.
There are teachers in this profession who should not be teachers. There are teachers in this profession who don't care about children.
These students don't want to learn. No, the adults have changed. See, the parents don't have the back of the teachers.
He ain't slow. He ain't got no learning problem. His parents didn't give him a foundation.
Young people, as a nation, we sorely need the depth and breadth of your intelligence, character, and also your clarity.
I think about, in particular, the history of people that look like me who are getting cheated.
So if you're asking me right now as an educator, what's wrong with these kids? There's nothing wrong with them.
Teachers are the most important people in the world.
They're whimpering in fear, and we're sitting here scared of them.
Because if they get it right, they'll change the world, because they're in charge of the most important resource, and that's our children.
Metamorphosis, self-reflection in the great beyond. Darkness, death, love, imprint on earth and the remains you leave behind.
Hicimos una promesa.
Ya no serás una linda bebé, serás una mujer siempre muy fea.
Y cuando el ángel me ha hecho acuerdo conmigo. No vas a poder, no. Yo te leo. ¿Tú me leerás? ¿Tú me leerás?
You see that cop out? You see that cop out?
Them being reckless.
Van Buren's a brotherhood. Started in high school and grew up to be something special. Not too many's gotten this type of opportunity. Haiti's where we're from. Geno's is where we come together. Where we break bread. Van Buren's here to change a lot of the narrative. Trying to change the culture. Show the world what Brockton's really made of.
Probably be doing too much, yeah. Probably be doing too much, Probably be doing too much, yeah. Probably be doing too much, Probably be doing too much, yeah. Probably be doing too much, Probably be doing too much, yeah.
Brockton, New Balance.
shoot no deputy. Oh no, oh. I shot the sheriff, but I didn't shoot no deputy. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Yeah.
Oscar Mike Radio is a proud podcast partner of Reach Across America Radio, heard every Thursday at 11 a.m. and Sunday at 8 a.m. Eastern. They're also big supporters of the nonprofit I Got Your Six, Two Lives at Once. And with every wreath you sponsor through Oscar Mike Radio, $5 goes back to this great organization dedicated to making a difference in the lives of veterans, law enforcement, firefighters, and first responders battling PTSD. Two Lives at Once pairs these brave men and women together with dogs rescued from kill shelters. In this way, two lives are saved at the same time by saving each other. Donate now. Go to reachacrossamerica.org/Oscar Mike Radio to help. That's reachacrossamerica.org/Oscar Mike Radio.
Hi, my name is Jennifer. I'm your neighbor from just down the street. I also ride a motorcycle, so please check twice. Save a life. Motorcycles are everywhere.
For more information on sharing the road, visit mass.gov/RMV.
This is Vianna Marie, and you're watching The Booth, a Sinister One production on Hoobazoo.com.
In a galaxy far, far away, forces of light and darkness clash amidst the stars. A timeless saga unfolds. Behold the epic struggle between the noble Jedi Knights, guardians of peace and justice, and the sinister Sith Lords, masters of the dark side. Meet Luke Skywalker, a young farm boy destined for greatness. Princess Leia, a fearless leader of the Rebel Alliance. Han Solo, the charming rogue with a hairy sidekick. And Darth Vader, the Dark Lord of the Sith. From the desolate sands of Tatooine to the bustling streets of Coruscant, from the frozen wastelands of Hoth to the lush forests of Endor, their adventures span the galaxy. But as the Rebel Alliance fights to free the galaxy from tyranny, they must face the might of the Empire and its fearsome army of stormtroopers. Yet, amidst the turmoil, hope flickers like a distant star, as alliances are forged, friendships tested, and the fate of the galaxy hangs in the balance. Get ready for a journey beyond imagination, where heroes rise, villains fall, and destinies are forged among the stars. Star Wars, a saga of epic proportions that will captivate audiences for generations to come. May the Force be with you.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Yeah.
Can you dig it?
You like some motherfucking action heroes in it. Yeah.
This is destiny. This is madness. This is the Booth.
Step into the twisted mind of my literature, designed to get into the depths of your mind, administer sickness surrounds and mimic the likes of snuff cinema. What you must get into, you're nothing but pops. Remember you Homer and Happy Simpson, son. Nothing Ithaca. Dark is like the northern half of Korea's peninsula. ESPN. The Booth, something sinister. ESPN your island like the Booth, something sinister. ESPN your island like the Booth.
All right, it's your boy Sinister One broadcasting live from the City of Champions. You are watching The Booth. It is 7:02, and we got people already in the chat. We've got people waiting to come on here and chat it up with us. And hey, you can definitely come on here and chat. I can in here in the chat and definitely chat with me because I see Christine Marie Painter. I see Denise. I see Billy Atwood. Billy Atwood's in here every week. That's my man. Grew up with him. Graduated school. Met him in junior high. He was one of the first. Be honest, Billy Atwood is one of the first white friends that I ever had because I grew up in Mission Hill, Boston. And Mission Hill, Boston, I grew up in Mission Hill. It was all black people. You know what I'm saying? We really didn't go into the white neighborhood. I moved to Brockton in 78. That was the suburbs back then. A lot of white people back then. I joined an after-school program, wood shop. I met Billy Atwood. And Billy Atwood's here. Billy Atwood's in the chat. Tammy Goodson's in the chat. And here's the thing, Billy, I don't mean to call you out, but Billy Atwood for black kids, Billy Atwood is, and Eddie can relate to this being a black man, but having white friends too. Billy Atwood was one of those white friends growing up that was allowed to swear in his house as a kid. And as a black kid, when your black father drops you off at your white friend's house for the first time, and your dad picks you up and says, "How's your what was your time like at Billy's house?" And I remember this moment. I remember my dad driving me home, asking me how it was, and I was like, "Man, we had fun." His mom ordered subs and pizzas, and him and his brother was fighting, and he said this, and he said F this, F that, and this, and my dad looked at me. If you ever think about saying that in our house. He let me know real quick.
He laid the law down real quick.
he knew right, because I was, you know how you be excited, Eddie, as a kid.
I'm about to try this when I get home. This is how it's supposed to be done. Thanks for showing me the way, Billy.
My dad I made sure I wasn't going to be like that. Let me get in my sponsors real quick. Michael Douglas Barreto, MDB Electronics. That's my guy. If you got an Xbox controller, it breaks, it drifts, you got to get back to gaming, get it back to him 24, 48 hours. Michael Douglas Barreto. Actually, my artist, Deanna Marie, it's personal, 494,000 streams. Music is everywhere. Go check her music out. Her latest project is Blacklisted Hip Hop, Volume 2 of the Blacklisted Project. Make sure to get ready to get on that when that gets released. Tactical Target Systems. You guys know I go to the range. Those are those zombie targets that you see, them life-size zombie targets. Tactical Target Systems. ilovebostonsports.com. Those are those badass t-shirts that you see. If you're in the chat, there's a chance that you could actually win a t-shirt. Tammy Goodson's in the chat. She says, my daughter's 28 and still can't swear in front of my... That's how it is. Even in the black house. You could be 40 years old, a grown-ass man. Don't you swear? In grandma's house or the parents' house. Oh, hell no. Not in the black house. Nah, you catching it. You catching it. Also, empowerment. Kimberly Ann Empowerment Photography. Ladies, if you want to take some pictures that you never thought you'd feel comfortable and take, Kimberly Ann is someone who gets you mentally ready and put you in an environment where you can take pictures like right there with my artist, Deanna Marie, and other women that thought they would never take pictures. And then Underwatch Protective Services, Mobile Patrol, Foot Patrol, Armed Guards, Unarmed Guards, Event Security, and Private Security. Reach out to my man, Black-owned business, Daryl Smith. He is the CEO, holding it down with security. Check him out. Reach out. He's licensed, bonded, and insured. And before we get into the news booth topics for this week, my first guest is up in the upper top left-hand corner. Let's see if I can get... Ooh, I did it right this week. Eddie, introduce yourself. Let them know where you're from and why you're on this show tonight.
What's up, brother? Thank you for having me on, Brother Keith, Sinister One Productions. My name is Eddie Estell, born and raised in Dayton, Ohio, currently living in San Antonio, Texas, and I'm the owner, operator, mindset and performance coach at the Mental Mechanics Institute.
Nice. And how long have you been in business for?
Been in business since 2019. Just underwent a total rebrand so I could focus more on the mental health sector. Of course, when I first started, I was more sales psychology based, working with small sales team. I'm a sales manager by trade, sales trainer by trade. So I went that route. And this year, 2024, I turned to the mental health sector and I started angling my products more towards mindset and performance. Specifically in the areas for men between the ages of 18 to 55, even though I do some of my clients are women. So I do men and women, but 18 to 55. I think we all know how to think. And if you go to a therapist, specifically a therapist would deal with emotion. Well, I don't deal in emotion, I deal in logic. So I work with my clients on how to make their emotions actionable in regards to changing habits and changing the way they think and changing overall mindset.
And I've got some topics here that I pulled right from your site that I think would be great for discussion tonight. But I do have a lot of people in the chat. So people, if you have a question for him, as you can, I'm going to let you guys see kind of what he does. And then if you have a question and you feel comfortable to ask him something, you can actually drop that question in the chat. I've got this up right here. And again, people, thank you for tuning in. And he's actually going to hang on the show with me. So I met Eddie through a guy, Kevin Jeffries, Happy Hour with Lito, who does this Black men's wellness group on Thursday nights. And as I talk about this on the show every now and then, I just got to let people know the group that's mainly for Black men to sit, discuss. You can't record anything in it because there are people who are, celebrity status. There's a whole bunch of people. It's been going on for quite a while. Some of the discussion is very deep. Some of the discussion has brought tears to our eyes. And, it's not one of these, it's the reason why it's a Black men's group is because mental health and attention. Mental health is one of these things in the Black community that for years, many, many years, we never embraced or talked about. It was always, oh yeah, that's crazy Uncle Joe. Oh, that's just crazy Chicken George down the street. Oh, that's just so-and-so. We never addressed mental health issues. And Black men, believe it or not, is one of in the top statistics of suicide. And that's partly because we don't discuss it. White people go out, they do mental health stuff, they get a psychiatrist or a therapist. For us, the community, the Black community, it's a sign of weakness. It's always been a sign of weakness. But I'm going to ask you this, Eddie. I feel like we're kind of seeing a little bit of turn thanks to social, I hate to say it, this is why I hate social media. I have this love-hate relationship with social media. I feel like mental health in Black men, social media has opened up those doors at discussion. I see a lot more Black men talking and using that word, mental health, on social media. Before, right. I want to say like maybe 6 years ago on social media, if you was a Black man, you didn't mention anything about it. So let's really talk about that, and let's talk about why these doors are kind of opening.
I think, like you said, it is due to social media, and you can now see how normalized it is for men to express the way they feel, openly and outwardly. When before it used to be either frowned upon or you only hear about it through R&B. You know what I mean? But I think now being so normalized, and being just perfectly honest with you, I mean, this new generation of kids, they're a lot more sensitive than we are. I don't know what generation they are. Are they Gen Z, millennial, whatever you want to call them? They're a lot more in tune to the way they feel, and they tend to lean more into emotion. And now you see more corporations leaning into mental wellness and mental health, and they've created. I don't want to just call them safe spaces, because you got people that do use mental health as an excuse to act out. However, I do see more of an opportunity to express the way you feel openly and it be discussed. And people are allowed to just, swim in their emotions a little bit more than they would normally be able to in this day and age. So it's both a gift and a curse, if we can be honest about it.
And I'm actually, we got people in the chat. Christine Marie Painter said, my older brother committed suicide at 41, and we're sorry to hear that. Prayers going out to you. Sorry about that. It is tough. And I'm actually kind of holding back a laugh because you said the thing about R&B. My mind went back to Bryson Tiller's first R&B. I don't know if anybody out here remembers, but remember when that Bryson Tiller first dropped? And remember, dudes was clowning. Remember, a lot of dudes was like, what's he singing about? You know what I'm saying? A lot of dudes was like, why is he singing? Why is he talking about that? Why was that? Because you remember when that Bryson Tiller first dropped, there was a lot of dudes hating because I think they felt like they could relate to it, but they were scared to relate.
Yeah, I agree. And the same thing with Drake. I think that men, prior to this day and age, were only used to expressing emotion through heartbreak. So you being down in the dumps about your girl leaving you or your relationship ending was the only time you were able to have an excuse to be sad. You know what I'm saying? So as men, so now it's being normalized that hey, working a 9 to 5s for a set amount of years, man, that shit can be stressful. Like that's a lot of stress to endure day in and day out, and it's not just men, it's women too. But the way the world is set up, it's a lot of things to be sad about if that's what you concentrate on during the day. Shit.
So so what made you get into this?
So I've been in sales since I was 10 years old. I was blessed. I lived a block over from the University of Dayton in Dayton, Ohio. And the Flyers, they played at a stadium called Welcome Stadium. And not only did the UD Flyers play there, but the high school teams and the middle school teams would run track and had their football games at this stadium. And I was blessed, man, because I lived so close. The guy that ran the concession stand would come over to the park and ask if anybody wanted to work or needed a job. And he asked me, I was one of the only person that said, yeah. So at 10 years old, I'm working, at a concession stand, and I developed a gift for communication, and I stuck with sales, and I've been a sales manager since I was 21 years old. And sales is basically an exchange of energy. So if you want to be good at sales, whether it be commission or non-commission, you start to pay attention to human behavior. So I started being really analytical, about human behavior. And for a while, you use it as manipulation, but as you grow older and you become a better person, it goes from manipulation into influence. And I got into sales management, and I started learning how to really the nuances of influencing people behavior, whether through sales or people that I'm managing. And I knew I wanted to do the Mental Mechanic Institute a long time ago, probably when I was in my early teens. I just didn't know what I wanted to call it. So I've been preparing for this for a long time. So I just been studying behavior. And it's not really nothing that anybody can teach you. It's something that you have to observe for yourself, because the level of communication between when you come to the Mental Mechanics Institute, a session with me has to be like you're talking to yourself. It can't be like you're working with Eddie, Estell, because the only thing I can bring to the table is my life and my experiences. So the gift that I've been able to cultivate is the art of mirroring, meaning when I talk with Keith and we're talking about, the goals and things that he wants to move forward, the behaviors that he wants to change, he has to feel like he's having a conversation with the person who he wants to be, not Eddie Estell. So it just took me a while to develop that gift. And when I developed it, literally when I turned 40 years old, that's the only time I was able to turn it into a business. Anything before then, I would have been cheating my people.
Nice. We do have some people in the chat. I got to thank Dennis Donahue. He's another buddy of mine. Thank you for tuning in. Tyler Zanowski, he's in here. Christy Marie Painter said he would have been 52, 516. Damn. Days. So definitely. Dennis Donahue, he's a veteran. He's in here. He's actually a veteran. And you were saying off air that some of your clients are veterans. What do veterans come to you about, and what do they use? Great.
So I work with a few vets in regards to getting out of the military, and being in the arena where they are used to taking orders. And now you have to do everything on your own. Your mind is left to do what it wants to do and go where it wants to go. So just helping them get some organization around their thoughts. And I actually, two of my products, the decompression chamber, I made that because a lot of veterans are dealing with, post-traumatic stress disorder, amongst other things that they go through when going from military life to civilian life. And sometimes you don't need somebody to talk about how you feel. Sometimes you need to organize your thoughts and get a plan of action. So typically when I work with the veterans, that's what we're doing. We're cultivating a plan of action as far as, the steps that they want to take in order to blend in with civilian life, coming from that military lifestyle.
And one of the things you do hear from a lot of veterans is that that's where one of the places the VA drops the ball. A lot of people, they talk, about care in the VA. A lot of veterans will say they drop the ball when guys come home. They give you that, they check you off quick and say you're okay, and then they put you right back out into society when really that period should be longer. And I hear that from a lot of veterans. So
Yeah,
it's
a
good that
lot.
you have something like that decompression chamber, kind of get through all that.
Yeah, and that's what I did it for. Because typically, when you go the other route, and I'm not talking down on the industry of therapy or anything like that. I'm just saying that a lot of times they're prescribing you, and the brothers don't really want to be prescribed. They just want to release the inner turmoil that's in there, and then they want to organize the thoughts. Because you and I know as men, we can think some really crazy things, but that doesn't mean that we'll do them. We just need a wall to throw it all on, and then we go back to life. So I just create a safe space to where we can be blunt and we can really have that kind of talk that they want to have, and it's not going to leave, and they can feel safe, and they can be as aggressive as they want to be in this mental space that I'm sharing with them, and then we can go back to normal life, and that can make you feel normal. It can, or not say normal. That can make you feel right about the things that's in your mind and not be judged. And that's what I wanted to create.
And you did a good job of that 2-3 weeks ago in our men's group. Kevin Jeffries himself, the host of the event, he had an issue at his job and came right in. Oh, before you come in, we were handling it, a certain way, and then you came in and you just 180 the whole discussion, and you took the power away. Pretty much what you did was you took the power away from the situation, made it where you gave the power to.
Yeah, yeah. I think society has they've trained us to only look at the negative aspects or look at things from a negative perspective. And really, when you look at it, this earth journey is happening for you. So anytime anything negative happens to you, the first thing that I think of, and I've programmed my mind like this, and this is why another reason why I started the Mental Mechanics Institute, is because I think sometimes you have to slap your brain around to get it to think, to get it to do what you want it to do. You have to train your mind. Just like your cell phone, this operating system has to be updated every 3, 6, 9, 12 months. And one of the things I do is it's always positive. So whether you've been fired, whether you broke up with your girlfriend, whether you've been divorced, whatever turmoil happens to you in your life, 9 times out of 10 is happening for you. That this moment is ending so something great can come. And I'll take it even further to say, if it doesn't happen, then nothing good will come. So we needed this moment. We needed this disappointment to happen so that you can stop giving your energy to it, and we can allow the positive things in your life to come to you. And it can't happen if it doesn't happen.
They're here again with Eddie Estell. Man, good stuff. I got a couple of things I want to pull up right from his site that I felt would be good things for people to talk about here on this page. Let's pull. Yeah, this is here. The quote comes right from your site. You actually do these YouTube discussions, so make sure people are subscribe to Eddie's page.
The Eddie Estell Experience.
Yeah, Eddie Estell Experience. Ken, we can get that dropped in the chat later on.
Okay.
The quote here is, take 60 seconds to ponder on this and comment your thoughts below. And it's a quote from Alan Watts. And it reads, isn't it interesting how many versions of you exist in other people's minds? That is deep. Get into that discussion.
Okay,
Especially with social media. Because social media, people put up stuff about people on social media, and you can see the differences of how people think.
Yeah, and you can also see the differences in how people act in different situations. I think that so let's just go on the topic of professionalism. A lot of people aren't their true selves because they have a work persona, and then they have their at-home persona. And I have always advocated for myself to be the same person no matter where I'm at. It's a fine line, and a lot of people won't like you, but basically that quote is just saying, like, think about it's interesting how many different versions of Eddie Estell exist in the minds of others, depending on what they were going through when they met me. Because, being somebody who's very direct in communication, I might have said something to them that they weren't ready to receive that day, and they said, I don't like him. Or I might have been in front of somebody where I exhibited some confidence and they were threatened by me and they said, I don't like him. And they treated me in a certain way to where I started to second guess myself and I lost my confidence. You know what I'm saying? So it's really the reason why I pointed out the quote is because we always want to be aware of the different versions of us that exist in other people, but being aware and caring is two different things. I want to know what you think about me, but I don't give a fuck what you think about me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need the information because that's telling me if I'm doing the right thing. But do I care? No, because I know what direction that I'm heading in. I'm just using you as a litmus test to see is what I'm doing work. Is the Mental Mechanics Institute really what I think it is? Because I'm looking at my clients and I can see the change in behavior, or vice versa. You know, Keith is the same way he was 6 months ago when we started this, performance plan that he is now. That means that I'm not who I think I am because I'm not having the results. I'm not having the impact. So it's just really a good way to look at the world is, hey, I don't have to be influenced by the different versions of myself that I'm seeing out in the world or seeing in people, but it's really good to see that who I am is really having an impact. Because this person thought of me this way, this person thought of me that way, this person thinks of me this way, and I didn't change at all. I was the same person with all of them. Or I can do the exact opposite, meaning this person thinks I'm this way, this person thinks I'm this way, because I was fraudulent. I had imposter syndrome, and I changed who I was for these three different people. And that's really a conversation I could only have with myself, because my higher self is never going to lie to me. I can tell myself whatever I want, but when I look in the mirror, I'm going to know whether I lied or not. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where guilt and shame comes in. And I never want to be guilty or feel ashamed of myself. So I'm going to always be 100 with myself. And that's a good way to judge yourself and to see where you're going. It's through the eyes of other people sometimes.
Matt Cameron, he's in the chat. What's going on, Matty? Matty's out there gearing up for this run that he's doing, this 10K. On June 13th, I believe. Matty, if you can, drop that link again in the chat like you did last week. This run again. Matty Cameron's running for his mother. This is a very personal thing. It's funny, I watched Matt Cameron's show on Sunday, and his boy, boxing's favorite boxer, Jalen Renard, wanted to train and run with Matty to help him run this run. And Matty was like, nah, bro, this is something I got to do on my own. And so Jalen, I can see, is kind of hurt that Matty wanted to run this run on his own, but Calvin Hot Sauce Henderson, who they had on the show, he says, sometimes it's like when you fight, Jalen. He says, sometimes when you fight, you want to fight this guy on your own. You don't want anybody else. This is a fight that you're taking on because it's about you and whoever you're fighting for. Matty's doing this run for his mother, who's suffering from cancer. So he wants to just make this run be about him. Jalen under this Calvin Hart says that good. I'll just be on the sideline for it. So Matty Cameron is in chat. Good stuff.
Shout out to Matt.
Man, good stuff, man. Good stuff. I got a second topic here. We're at 7:27. People, if you got anything in the chat you want to drop and say for him to answer, let's drop it in the chat. But let's bring up this second one. This is something that I kind of struggle with. One of the ones you had, just a tiny step to shift the power back to you when it comes to controlling food and mental power. Now, many years ago, I was about 360 pounds, and I found out I had sleep apnea. I had to get it right. I got approved to get lap band surgery. But one of the things before you get weight loss surgery is they make you see a therapist. And one of the things that people don't realize is that they make sure that you can get your mind right to lose weight. What they do is that they make you lose 10 pounds on your own. Any approval for any type of weight. And I did it. I did it because I knew that I had to get better for my kids. I had to get better. So I knew, and I went back and I had lost those 10 pounds. I got approved lap bands. For some people, they don't get it right. And there's been a ton of changes. I'm down to about 258 right now. But there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things mentally in your mind. I noticed. One of the things I noticed once I got the lap band, because if you eat fast, you throw up. I'm just putting it bluntly. You eat fast, it gets stuck, and then you throw up. And it's embarrassing to be out with your friends, and you can hang with them now, but you can't. Your stomach's smaller. You can't eat as much. You have to mentally change that whole thought process. Going out to eat was a struggle for me mentally, man. I'm gonna tell you, I got to a depressing place because I was a guy who was I DJ and stuff. I would go with my friends out, and everybody's buying appetizers, everybody's buying the main course, everybody's getting dessert. I got to a point where I couldn't have appetizers and desserts no more because I would get sick. I had to learn to just get my main meal, and if I can't eat it, bring it home. And for the first year, it was tough because I'd go out with my friends, and they'd be like, "Oh, Keith's not good eating like a bird," and all that stuff kind of bothered me. But I had to mentally get that right. You know what I'm saying? There was so much stuff that I had to get right and say, whatever they say, they say. I need to know that this is for me. I can't be getting up and running to the bathroom 10 minutes into the meal because I'm puking my guts out because the food got stuck in the lap band. And sometimes it still happens. If I don't eat all day and I come home from work and I'm super hungry and I just don't pay attention, I eat too fast and it gets stuck and then boom. I used to love broccoli, couldn't eat broccoli. Breads, any thick, heavy breads, I can't eat. And mentally, I had to realize that thick pizza and all that, the thin crust. So mentally, let's talk about that and how food affects that mental health.
All right, so the first thing is like we got to be honest about what food is, and food is addictive. The things that it has in it, and the way that it tastes. Pizza is fantastic. Chicken wings are amazing. Nothing beats a burger. Fries. Everything has a high oils, high sugars, heavily addicted. Not just because of the additives, but just because of the way it tastes. Like it's foodie pages everywhere, and I'm one of them. I enjoy food so much. I love, especially when you taste something good that you've never had before. Like there's no other feeling that beats having something fantastic for the first time. And I think that the food addiction is something that people never address when they talk about losing weight, or just gaining control of your mind, is they never will admit that the food has a hold on them. Recently, I drink a lot of tea, a lot of herbal tea. I've went vegan 3 or 4 times in my life just for the sake of just cleaning my body out and taking control over my mind. But what I mean is, like, if you can go 2 or 3 days without eating food and you start getting headaches, like real headaches, like you're going through withdrawals from drugs, because that sugar is knocking on your brain's door saying, put more of that in me. And people don't realize how much of their food cravings are addictions.
So it's funny you say that. One of the problems that I had, even though I lost the weight and stuff, I worked the overnight shift. One of the things that I used to do on the overnight shift is we had Cumberland Farms right down the street from my house, and they had this 64-ounce chug jug. And every night before work, I would stop at this Cumberland Farms before work. I'd fill my 99-cent 64-ounce chug jug up with Mountain Dew Code Red. And every night before work. This went on for years. Code Red Mountain Dew. Code Red Mountain Dew. And one day I ended up, something happened. I felt messed up. My heart was messed up. Everything was messed up. I went to the hospital. My doctor said this was high. And she said, what do you do? This. And I told her, I drink Mountain Dew this much. I said, cut it out. Stop. Whole turkey. I had to cut it. He said, if you don't stop this Mountain Dew is going to kill you. Stuff that's in Mountain Dew is... And I love my Mountain Dew. So I stopped. Almost 4 years I didn't have a Mountain Dew. Okay? One day, a salesperson came into my job and they brought the brand new pitch black Mountain Dew. And I said, damn. Oh, and it's been about 4 or 5 years. Try this pitch black. I took one can, one of the mini cans, right? Back in the hospital.
Man.
I haven't had a Mountain Dew since. Haven't had a Mountain Dew since.
How did you feel when you were breaking your habit? Like, how did you feel going through not having that Mountain Dew over the first 2 weeks?
So like I said, I would always get it before work, and stop. It was hard. It was hard to not stop passing that gas station and knowing. It was almost like I was almost like Chris Rock. It's calling me, man. It's calling me.
Yeah.
I'm dead up. Like I love Mountain Dew. Even everybody that's in the chat that knew me as a kid, Mountain Dew was my soda. And there's a lot of people out there. Billy Atwood said 254 with his legs on. Started the gym this week, walking on the treadmill. Good stuff. Christine Pena says, I fortunately haven't had the dumping syndrome. Billy says, diabetic diets, you have to change everything you eat. That's right.
Everything.
But yeah, I was hurting, man. I had to mentally get myself right and no Mountain Dew. I haven't had it since that second time in the hospital. It was scary.
It is scary. And it could be something as simple as caffeine. Like caffeine withdrawals are crazy. And you have to go through the mental angst of not feeding your body what it's telling you that you need. So basically, when I posted that quote in that video, it was because I was explaining to people how the mental battle of going through breaking a habit or breaking an addiction can really hurt more than anything. That's the most stressful, anxiety thing ever, is your body telling you that it needs something and you saying no. So that the headaches, that anxiety feeling, that's really a message to you that you're not in control anymore. And you need to fight the urge and take control back, because now you can tell your body what to do. Now you can tell your body, it's 9 o'clock. I'm not eating anything for the rest of the day. And I'm going to go get on the treadmill for 30 minutes at 10 o'clock. And your body will listen to you because your mind is in control and not your body. When your body's in control, that's the food telling you you need some chips. And you know how you do when you eat chips. You eat 3 and then the bag disappears. You know what I'm saying? Because them Ruffles, them sour cream and cheddar Ruffles taste so damn good. Like you just can't, the food tastes so good. Like they got it figured out. Like they got, the food crack is a real thing because you really cannot stop eating. If you just eat a little bit, you're done. You know what I'm saying? So that is a real struggle. It's a real battle. And it's really something mental. Like, you ever seen the experiment where they do the rats? So they give 50 rats. They give 50 rats or 25 rats cocaine water. They give 25 rats sugar water. And the sugar water is far more addicting than the cocaine water is. And that's how we're functioning day to day. Coffee first thing in the morning, coffee for lunch. We're crashing. We got donuts. We got candy. They put sugar in everything. Even the salty stuff that you're eating has some form of sugar in it. So we're addicted. And if you're not honest with yourself about the mental battle that you're going to have to overcome, because it's not really about not eating the food. It's powering yourself through the headaches and the dehydration after you've not been doing it for 7 days and your body is crying out for you, saying, please just give me a little bit of this stuff that we usually always get. And once you break that cycle after, say, 72 hours, then you home free and your mind is back in control. But some people just can't get over that first 7 to 10 day struggle and they end up going back every time. And I just wanted to bring light to it. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I got some people in the chat. They're actually dropping some of that food that you say is addictive. Christine Marie Painter says Cool Ranch Doritos. Felicia, you just jumped in the chat. We're dropping those type of foods that you really shouldn't be eating, but they be calling your name like Chris Rock in New Jack City. Call my name.
They call you. They call you. So what I did was I built a reward system for myself. I wrote down all the things that I absolutely love, and I can only have them after I've achieved 4 or 5 days of just fruit. You know, I do a meat, but just all fruit. So my diet is probably about 70-80% fruit and then some meats. And if I want to, throw some trash in there, I have to earn it. So that's how I stay in control. Is I earn my cheat. You can call it a cheat meal, but if I'm gonna eat some trash this week, I'm gonna make it as trashy as possible. It may be 2 meals, but I'm gonna earn it through my work. So it has to be 4 or 5 days of just fruit and all the right stuff, and then I earn that day, and then I go right back, to the discipline. And a lot of people just don't know how to discipline the mind. The body's in control.
One of the ones I had to cut out and stop for a while there, and I don't want anybody that there was 2 things. I had 2 things. Oreo cookie drink. I had these since I was a kid. What you do is you take a cup, take 2 rows of Oreos and put 2 rows of Oreos in the cup, put that milk in there, stick it in the fridge. Let the Oreo break down and break all up and get nice. Oreo cookie drink. It's insane. I shouldn't. Another one, Pop-Tarts with butter.
Oh my God.
Boy, if you haven't had a Pop-Tart with some butter on the top in the oven, not in the toaster. Don't put in the toaster, then put the no. Take the Pop-Tart, put your butter on the Pop-Tart, pop it in the oven, 350, 10 minutes.
Ooh. Mine used to be. Yo, I used to make peanut butter and jelly hamburger.
I see the drool.
Yeah. I'm picturing what you said. I could taste it. And that's how good food is. You can really taste. You don't even gotta be eating it to taste it. You could just taste it. But I used to make peanut butter and jelly hamburgers. Oh my God, it sounds crazy, but it used to be so amazing. Oh my God.
It's funny. I was in Louisiana.
Thinking about it.
I went to a restaurant that had the peanut butter and jelly burger, and I'm like, this is weird. I had it while I was down south in Biloxi, Mississippi. Fire.
Man, listen.
Fire.
Listen. The McGriddles from McDonald's, man, them used to be my poison. And that's the worst thing you can eat. Yeah, man. I
had to stop. Yeah. That was one of those breads that messed me up. And McGriddles had to go. I couldn't eat those McGriddles. Everybody's in the chat right now. Felicia says, oven. Yes, Felicia. Put the Pop-Tart in the oven, but you got to put the butter on the top. Put a little bit of butter on the top, and just 10 minutes, just enough to crisp the Pop-Tart up and let that butter seep into the frosting. You take that bite, and and don't let it be a flavor that you really like a strawberry.
Yeah.
Sorry, man.
Nah, you good. But it's real though. It's real. Like think about how many people have 10, 11, 12, 13 foods that they're not noticing that these are the things that they eating on a daily basis, or on a weekly basis, and they just can't quit. Because normally when we think about addictions, we think about one thing. But when it comes to food, you can have everything you eat could be bad. It just can be bad in different ways, and it's hard to stop. So
Felicia says, bet. She's like, I'm making one tomorrow. Felicia, tell me how it is. Felicia.
We talking about not doing it. Felicia encouraging them.
Go ahead, Felicia. Oh, man. I'm telling you. It's so funny that I was doing this, and then someone, when I talked about before in the show, someone sent me a clip from Family Guy. And on Family Guy, they had an actual song about Pop-Tarts with butter. And I was like, see, it is a thing, bro.
It is. But Billy, go ahead. Okay.
No, I was reading some of the chat. I'll read those after.
My bad. But honestly, when it comes to this food thing, and I'm being honest, a lot of people do not have honest conversations about themselves, about their problems. You know what I'm saying? Like they say, it's easy to wake up every day, and when you start the day, you tell yourself something like, I'm not going to eat no bullshit today. I'm going to do this today. I'm going to do this. And then when it starts calling your name, you don't have the wherewithal to stop, because you'll tell yourself a lie. Like, you know what? I'll just start tomorrow. Or it's cool today. I'll just start it this weekend. And you start pushing that time back. And before you know it, the clock never starts on doing the right thing. So, having an honest conversation with yourself and saying, these are the things that's holding me back from being this person who I want to be. And that, even if it's just a little bit, you can start cutting back a little bit and you can start gaining just a little bit control over your mind when it comes to all these activities that are holding you back from the self that you really want to be, your ultimate self.
Funny, because I have a good friend, Eric. Eric, he's another person. He suffered from diabetes, got his diabetes under control. But I remember first on with Eric, one of the things we talked about is diabetes. He said that where he lived at the time in Brockton here, his problem was that when he left work from working at the hospital, hungry, he knows he shouldn't eat things, but when he goes home, he's got to pass a McDonald's, a Burger King, a Taco Bell, and he said for him it became like running the gauntlet.
Yeah.
To get home, to the point where when he had to get his diabetes straight, he actually had to change his route home so he wouldn't go by those places. And it's that deep, right?
It's that deep, because doing the right thing is always the most hardest thing. It's easy to cheat. It's easy to eat bad food because it's everywhere. It's everywhere. Like, they've made eating bad more convenient than eating good. Like, even when you go to the grocery store, your health foods cost more. So not only is it harder to strategically eat better food, but it costs more. So think about the mental battle that you're going through when you got to pay extra to eat some shit that you don't want to eat. And you got to pass up all the good stuff. It just takes a lot of mental discipline and a lot of mental strength. So I applaud anybody, especially yourself, Brother Keith, for making it through, getting that lap band, and mentally going through some of the woes that it takes to take care of your body, man. It's not an easy thing to do, and it's not an easy thing to stay consistent with. But every now and then, I would employ everybody that's listening right now, challenge yourself. Give yourself a 10-day, food challenge where you cut off all the bull stuff and you just say, I'm gonna do it for these 10 days. If it's 3 days for you, do it for 3. But do something that makes you step outside of your comfort zone and actually take your power back. Because the stronger you get, the easier it'll be to say, I'm not eating this for 5 or 6 days because I can feel my body, this food taking over me. Or for me, if I'm going through a life challenge, I'll go on a fast. So if something is happening in my life that is causing me to have a extra stress or anxiety, I'll go on a fast. Okay, so for the next 7 days, I'm eating all fruit, all vegetables, and I'm working out every day. Like, that's how I take my mental power back. So with this food, be honest. What you eating is some bullshit, even though it tastes fantastic. It's loaded with the stuff you don't need. You can feel the change in your body when you eat it, because you went from being clear-minded to being foggy, clear-minded, thinking about your worries, to stress-free and happy, but foggy brained because that ice cream had that crazy stuff in it. You can feel the difference. So do yourself a favor, go do the hard stuff. It'll make you stronger.
There's a reason why they call it comfort food. There's a reason why they call it comfort food.
Exactly.
Some people in the chat, since being diagnosed with cancer, Felicia says she stopped soda and added more greens since being diagnosed with cancer. Good stuff, Felicia. Glad to hear that.
Good job, Felicia. Hell yeah.
Good job. Good job. Everybody here in the chat again. This is Eddie Estell. She says after her chemotherapy, she self-twisted.
Yeah.
I would agree. After getting that chemo, I think that deserves the reward. I think that's the best time to have that reward. Because for some people after chemo, I hear are wiped out and usually can't eat. So to be able to take that in and that is great. So again, let them know how they can reach you and follow you, man. Get into topics now.
So I'm up. My website is mentalmechanicinstitute.com. All you gotta do is search me in the Google. My name pops up. On YouTube, I'm the Eddie Estell Experience on YouTube. Those are the best ways to get in contact with me. I usually post a video a week on YouTube. Hard for me to be consistent there too, but I do have a couple of things. I help with the decompression chamber on mentalmechanicinstitute.com. I have a mindset mapping where maybe you're not going through anything, but you just want to organize your thoughts. I have a mindset mapping. I do interview assistance. So if you have an interview coming up and you want to prepare for an interview, I got interview prep And I also have performance plans. So, 6 sessions, 8 sessions, 12 sessions. If you have a goal that you want to get to and you want somebody to help hold you accountable and put together a plan of action for you, come to the Mental Mechanics Institute and we get you right.
Here we go, people. So he's going to actually stick on with me. We got some topics to chop up. Eddie's going to stay on with me, and we're going to chop up. We're at 7:48. Let's get into the news booth. Brockton, well, actually nationwide, but Brockton's making sure to mention that it is National Police Week. For every 1% of bad cops we got out here across the nation, we got 99% good cops. So let's say National Police Week, respect, honor, and remember that's all week. So again, Brockton's also in the news booth. Tensions rose at the Brockton School Committee meeting last week over the superintendent search. Judy Sullivan kind of put her foot in her mouth when they were discussing about this search and talking it over, and she blatantly says about Tony Rodriguez, well, this wasn't done, and his people. And a lot of people took that as a racist comment and this and that. It wasn't, for me, I watched it, I saw it. It wasn't a racist comment. His. Now, if she said your people or you people, me, that would have been racist. When she was saying his people, she's insinuating that he's getting friends and associates to pad this search or to pad this job search and come in here. That's what she's saying. And again, to be honest, people, her insinuating that a political head is getting friends and family members to take over a seat, that's actually worse than saying something racist. Let's be real here. To accuse him of and insinuating him of that, that's more worse than the racist thing. So Judy Sullivan, I'm just going to keep it real here. This is the second time she's kind of put her foot in the mouth, number one. Number two, also, Judy Sullivan is probably wishing that she went on and retired instead of coming back and taking that seat back, whatever reason why she did it. There's a lot of rumors out there as to why Judy Sullivan came back and took that school committee seat back. She's probably feeling like she stayed retired. Also here in Brockton, and not just Brockton, Stewart Health has announced, last week on the show, we announced that they went into Chapter 11. This week they announced all 31 hospitals are up for sale. Stewart Hospital is all done. Put all their hospitals up for sale. Here, it's going to be Good Sam Hospital. Crazy, sad when it gets shut down and has to close. Somebody purchases jobs. Oscar Mike Radio, that's the show I produce, featured Travis Partington. We have been invited back on C-SPAN. Look, I see a lot of people out there with their podcasts and talking all this stuff about their podcast, and all I gotta say is this: don't mess with us. You can't mess with us, because we're on C-SPAN for a second time. That is insane. Podcast right back on that level, and it's gonna be on Veterans Memorial Day, which is Saturday. We'll be lit. If my man can talk about this, autonomous driving company it's called PlusProtect. And I talk on this show a lot about autonomous vehicles, things of that sort, AI. PlusProtect is an AI-based technology which allow autonomous vehicles not to rear-end other vehicles. Now, here's the big thing about autonomous vehicles, driverless vehicles. The biggest problem that they are seeing, rear-ending cars. Part of that reason is because you have dumbass drivers, and you see it on the highway. We see it. 18-wheelers barreling down the road, and a guy and a tourist will make a lane change right in front of a friggin' 18-wheeler, knowing that this 18-wheeler it can't stop in the distance. But yet these people still do this, and now when you do this to an autonomous vehicle, which has to detect you first and then make the reaction time, yes, it's quick because it's a computer, but still, again, they got to make it so it detects it better. What are your thoughts on the autonomous and AI?
I mean, I don't think that accidents can be avoided.
No,
so I think the way that they're marketing it, that they have to market as is if it's better. You know what I'm saying? When in reality, it's just the same as any other thing. It doesn't matter who's driving. An accident can be caused anywhere. However, I don't know, man. Um, I don't want to see it because I think that the way Uber and Lyft is set up, I like seeing our people, be able to go out and make a living driving. Like you from Boston area, New York, like
Yeah, and I hate to say this, Uber and Lyft already are testing all autonomous cars out here. So,
that's kind of crazy.
This job of people driving for Uber and Lyft, that's kind of going bye-bye because they've already got contracts with certain car companies for the autonomous cars. And once they get this straight and set, a lot of people, I know there's someone out here that does Lyft. Once they get this situated, it's going to be tough. They're gonna start weeding people out, and they're going to have the autonomous cars out there. It's coming. It's a scary thought.
I think it'd be a good mix. So 50-50. Meaning, sometimes you get in the car, you don't want to talk to nobody. You just go where you want to go, you get dropped off. Other times, you would like some verbal, feedback, for the ladies out there, when you going home from a club or you traveling solo. I would, if you feel safer being in a car that, is not driven by a crazy human. So it could work both ways. And I don't think the companies will ever have enough money for it to be 100% autonomous.
No. And you know what? They could put that as an option. When you're on Uber or Lyft, you could say, I want an autonomous car or I want a human. And that would be nice. It would be nice to see that because give people the choice. Because like with some, we had an issue here where we had a girl who was drunk at the club. Her friends allowed her to leave with this dude. This dude ended up killing her. An autonomous Lyft or an autonomous Uber, you can now say, okay, get this person home. I'm going to call this person, whoever at the house and say, hey, she's coming home in this car, this autonomous car that's going to drop her off. Just make sure you get.
Yeah, man.
Now you feel safe and sound because there's nobody in this car that can molest her or rape her or kill her and all that. That it's going to take her right to her home, and whoever's there to wait for her can get her out the car. That's where, to be honest, that's where they're going to have this selling point with autonomous Ubers and Lyft.
I agree, man.
Do it.
I agree. It's a lot of single moms out there. You got to pick your kids up from somewhere, and you can send a vehicle with no, you could send something to go pick them up. You know what I'm saying? Or, it's just easier. It's better. So, I don't, as much as I say I don't like it because it's taking jobs away, it is adding an extra layer of security and peace of mind when it comes to, somebody being picked up and dropped off. Think about our elderly who can't get places, where they want to go. Having something go pick them up and take them somewhere and, it being autonomous is a fantastic option to have. So I think it'll work.
We'll see. We'll see what's going on. Also in the news booth, China. Okay, people, here's the thing. I'm a mechanic. I've been a mechanic since I was 16. China creates a water battery which almost has double the energy capacity of lithium cell, lithium ion, which we all know is killing the rainforest and all this stuff to make batteries. China creates a... Wait a minute. What are you talking about? China creates a... We already have a water battery here, people. It's called your automotive car battery. Your automotive car battery inside has about 5 to 8 metal plates filled 3/4 of the way with what? Water. And then that water has a little bit of sulfuric acid in it. And that sulfuric acid, water, and those metal plates is what allows it to generate and hold electricity for long periods of time. But for short periods of time, but for long periods of time, you need the alternator to charge that battery back up. So this water battery that they're talking about, I got to see it because we already have it. This isn't new technology. Technology already here in a car battery. So what they're saying now is they're taking the thought process of a car battery and putting it into a AA, a 9-volt, all of that sort, and it will be rechargeable. Your car battery with craziness. but China's always ahead of the curve. They're always ahead of the curve on us.
They are.
And it's just let's see here. I think I got a couple more topics. Nope, that's the actually last topic in the news booth. Let's get into the legal booth. Karen Reed trial. I don't know. Are you guys seeing about this Karen Reed trial that's going on out here, day 11, where she's being accused of killing her boyfriend and running him over with a car, and he's a cop. Now they're saying that other cops had beat him to death and let the dog bite him. and now they're trying to frame her. This is gonna be if you haven't heard about this, it's gonna be a Netflix movie. You don't have to worry.
Dang, I ain't heard about it. That's crazy.
This is gonna be a Netflix movie. So Karen Reed's trial is in day 11. Yesterday, the family took the stand. Who was the family that lived across the street where his body was found? Family got caught up in some issues, lies on the stand. One of the things the man said he got rid of his phone. He got an upgrade to his phone. December 22nd, the day before they was coming to look for evidence. So there's a lot of stuff going on here. The defense has yet even cross-examine these people, and it's crazy. This is gonna be a Netflix movie.
Yeah, that's wild.
Don't worry about it, Eddie. It's
Yeah,
gonna
we're
be
here
a
about
Netflix
it.
movie. There's a veteran out there up in New Hampshire. Christopher Stoltz, 49. He's going to jail for 18 months. I think 18 months is too little. This is a guy who, for years, he faked going to the VA. He claimed he couldn't walk. He faked this disability. He took $660,000 in VA benefits and got caught. 18 months? Sorry, I think that's too little. I think that fraud other veterans out of their money. That's disgusting. That mental process.
Yeah, for such a long time too. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So if he was doing it for 20 years?
He was doing it for a while. They didn't say exactly what, but he only got 18 months.
Hey.
Doesn't seem right to me.
It doesn't seem right.
18,
but
I feel like he should be going for years. Dougie's in the chat. What's up, Dougie? I feel like he should be going for years. I feel like 18 months isn't enough to defraud these penalties. $160,000 from the VA is a lot.
It probably happens more often than we know, man. So if you come down too hard on them, you know, that means the government is going to get involved and start doing more investigations on that type of stuff. I don't know. That's crazy.
Sit down. Sit down.
Yeah. Exactly.
Also in the legal booth, hey, Adam Montgomery, the father who murdered his daughter, and they still haven't found the body. He was sentenced last week to a minimum of 56 years in prison for murdering his own daughter. And the only reason why he got this sentencing without a body being found yet is because the ex-wife, the mother of the daughter, who he also abused, she flipped and said all the stuff that happened and how he punched her in the face and blackened her. Look, people, I can tell you right now, he ain't gonna make it 56 years in prison.
Nah, he ain't gonna make it 6 months.
We have this thing called what we call, and I hate to say this, is prison justice. It's just some people, they walk in the door. Somebody's making their bones.
Yeah. It's over for him when he hits the yard. It's a wrap.
Yeah, somebody is making their bones. It may not happen in the first 6 months, but it's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming. Prison justice is real, people. For those who think this thing is it's not just a movie. Prison justice is real. There's some people that oh yeah, when Adam Montgomery walks into the prison, oh yeah.
They know they waiting on him.
You know what's funny? You know how it's gonna be. They're gonna friend him. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna get him to feel. You know how they're gonna do him. You know how they're gonna do him. They're gonna friend him. Yo, come play ball. You know how everybody's gonna friend him, and then it's gonna be who's gonna get him first.
Yeah,
it's gonna be the black group. Who's gonna do it? Something like this in prison justice. To be honest, and I hate to say this, sometimes people of their own kind take care of their own kind.
Yeah.
So when he gets in there, the white guys are gonna that group will be the ones to take care of this dude, or they'll it's coming. And if you think, and somebody will say that's horrible, but what about the guards? Look, guards. I hate to say this, but the guards also know. I hate to say this, guards also know. Like when Epstein got killed, the guards were sleeping, and they took their little suspension. They took their little 3-day suspension. When they got questioned, I was sleeping, bro, on shift.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how Epstein got hung. I was sleeping. Oh, you getting the 3-day suspension? Good. Where am I signing this? I'm not filing the grievance. I'll take my 3 days.
Right.
You know? Because you didn't want to be hemmed up in that. So
yeah,
it happens. So yeah, he's going to jail. Prison justice, people. That's a real thing. Also, getting into the entertainment booth. In the entertainment booth, do you watch cartoons, man?
Yep.
Oh, watching X-Men.
So I watched the first 5 episodes, and when I got to 6, I felt like I was watching it, but I wasn't giving it enough attention. So I'm starting completely
5 made
over.
me cry, bro. 5 made me cry.
Yeah.
Five
That's what I'm
made
saying.
me cry. I don't want to ruin it because there's some people who haven't watched it. I don't want to give all these spoilers, but 5 that remember me, that shit had me teared up, bro.
Yeah, like that. I felt like I wasn't involved enough in it. I said, "No, I got to start over because I got to get in tune with this. I'm not paying attention enough." So I'm gonna start back over. But yeah, it's X-Men 97 as well.
So the finale is this week, as you all know. Professor, the big secret's out. Professor Xavier's back, team. But now, this final episode. This series has been so successful. They're fast tracking season 3, and like I said, I know some people here that are about to binge watch. And there was a couple of dudes that are our age. Man, like I said, when you got to that episode 5, that Remember Me episode, I heard dudes on the radio. They was talking about dude was like, I was crying. I was like, bro, I ain't gonna lie. I had a tear in my eye. When that shit happened, because the episode it's like a regular TV show. I was like, for me, it was like, okay, it's a happy-go-lucky show, and then all of a sudden, that show went from 0 to 100.
Just like that. And that's what I'm saying. I was watching it like a cartoon, like I nostalgic. We grew up on this.
Oh man. You actually blinked out there. I didn't catch what you said. What were you saying?
I said it's very nostalgic. Like I feel like we're recapturing, our childhood, man, watching, this X-Men 97 series. So it's good to watch. And I feel like I didn't give the first 5 episodes the justice and the time I should have given it, because episode 6 was just what the what?
So the thing about me too, and I've been telling people, so if you haven't watched it yet, and this isn't a spoiler, the guy that's doing this show, he did it nice. So here's what he did. He took the X-Men 1992, got that animation, that US animation. But what he did is when the action scene kick off, it switches to that anime style, that Japanese animation, fast style of animation. So you flip. So it's like you're watching a hybrid. So I think that's why the action scene, they punch you in the face when they happen, because if you've never watched anime, people don't understand it. Like it's crazy. If you watch Dragon Ball Z and all that stuff, you'll know what I'm talking about. It is crazy.
This is my first year getting into anime. So the action, like the spin, when it took that turn, I was like, oh shit. Okay. This got real. Like I just now watched Blue Eye Samurai this year for the first time. So I wasn't ready for the pace change. I was like, oh, so it's good to see that shift happened with X-Men, something that we're already familiar with and used to. And of course, it's much better in the comics, but to see it, on Netflix and see it, in the way that they showed the X-Men 97, and that was fantastic, man. That was great. Great for X-Men.
Yeah. Good stuff. Big money for Disney Plus. They're holding it down. So let's see here. Let's see that was my only top of the entertainment booth. That's the big thing this week. It's 7:00. The puck is dropped. Bruins. Let me just look up the score right now. Bruins should be deep into this game right now. Actually, we're getting ready to wrap up 1-0, and we're almost done with the show. So let's see here. Let's get into the sports booth real quick. In the sports booth here in Brockton, June 13th, Marvin Hagler Park. Marvin Hagler statue will be unveiled on June 13th. One of the best middleweight fighters of Marvin Hagler.
He deserved it. Yeah. He deserved it.
And we're blessed here in Brockton because we got Rocky Marciano and we got Agla.
Yeah.
We're blessed here. And now we got my man Kevin Walsh. Big congrats to Kevin Walsh, 13-0, WBC, holding 2 titles right there. Good stuff with him. I'm trying to get Kevin Walsh on the show. Defend Causeway. Bruins up 1-0 tomorrow night. Cleveland done. Wrap. Patriots have announced their people that they're playing this year. The usual people are here. We've got coming to Boston. We got the Chargers, the Colts, the Seahawks, then Rams coming. So let's get ready. Let's get the tickets. Tom Brady, home opener. Browns versus Cowboys, week 1. This will be the first time he'll be as a broadcaster. Ratings are going to be bananas. And I feel like giving them Browns Cowboys is a joke. I feel like they should have gave him a Pats game.
I feel like they should have too. But I think it'd be good because the Cowboys are going to lose.
Also in the sports booth tonight, the kickoff. WNBA season, game 1. The Fever against the Sun down there in Connecticut. Mohegan Sun. Caitlin Clark doing big things. I seen some dude on my thing talking about women's basketball and nobody cares. They do care. Bro, the WNBA hasn't seen attention like this in a long time, man.
They killing it.
They taking it to the point where right now Golden State is getting an expansion team. Golden State's WNBA team is going to be called the Valkyries. Time to get those jerseys. And also in the sports booth, OBJ signed with the Dolphins. This is why the Dolphins are always a bridesmaid and never a bride. Because you sign people like OBJ who's hurt and didn't get last year. Broken, damaged goods. It's like the Dolphins went shopping in a secondhand store.
I'm rooting for OBJ, man. I think he's gonna be. I think he's gonna be a good third option. He don't have to be the 1 or the 2. You know what I'm saying? They got 2 speed demons on the outside. He can work the middle. They only expecting, they only expecting 45, 40 catches out of him. That's a good spot, man. He'd be cool.
Okay. Last night was the press conference for the big fight, Tyson against Jake Paul. Look, I've already said this. At first, I was worried. I thought Tyson was taking the dive. I thought I was going to go the distance. It's not. Jake Paul is a guy who brought his career because he did things that were viral. You know what's going to be viral for Jake Paul? To get knocked the fuck out. If he gets knocked out, Tyson keeps his legacy in check. He makes his money. And then Jake Paul, the knockout, will be viral everywhere on all the outlets. And guess what, people? Jake Paul getting knocked out will make him more money than going the distance or beating Mike Tyson. So mark my words, in July, Jake Paul's getting knocked out because that's where the money is.
I agree. I don't think he can take none of them body shots he about to take either. So,
and Taylor versus Serrano, these 2 ladies. That's going.
Is this the second one between them or the first one?
Second one. Yeah, second one. Yep, and we get ready to close out the show here. Biden bombshells. Trump was in Jersey, the scene of the crime where he had a lot of businesses go corrupt and bankrupt. He had a lot of people there. They're saying there was 100,000 people there. His people, I'm hearing that there was only about 10 to 20,000, which is still a good number. But, it's definitely something to pay attention to. And that's it, man. I want to thank everybody for coming on the show, hanging out with us. These are the banners and everybody who supported the show. Eddie, while my banners are playing, you just tell people again how they can follow you and check you out. Oscar Mike Radio, what's going on? I see you in the chat.
Awesome. So thank y'all again for tuning in. Thanks, Keith, for having me on the show. Y'all can reach out, book an appointment on mentalmechanicinstitute.com. There's the decompression chamber. If you just need to get off, some stresses and put a game plan together. There's mindset mapping. There's interview prep. And of course, there's a 6-session, 8-session, 12-session coaching plan. That's mentalmechanicinstitute.com. You can catch me on YouTube at the Eddie Estell Experience.
I actually have Oscar Mike Radio, Travis Prodigy, who does a show geared towards veterans. That decompression chamber that you talk about, as you guys are watching some of these flyers for events coming up, just please pay attention to those flyers too as we talk, and we're going to come back in. That decompression chamber, I think I might put you in touch with Travis and Doug to speak directly on the decompression chamber, because like we talked about, that's one of the things that veterans back home. I'd like to set you up and get with Oscar Mike Radio, get with Hero Sloop, kind of get on there and talk about this decompression services. Because if you can get just 1 or 2 veterans to come and decompress and get back into society, we've done our part.
Awesome. I agree.
Closing out my banners up here. Bat buses, keep riding them for free until May 31st. I think it's going to be extended. Also in my flyers, got Deaf Purpose Freedom Fundraiser. That's June 15th, 7 to 10 p.m. Got a couple of other banners. The Healathon. I'll be DJing the Healathon on the 22nd of June at DW Field Park. Ryan's Ride takes place on June 22nd. And then my Shriners Ride with all the slingshots, July 27th. And then the Pink Out is October 19th. People are already promoting events for October. Past summer. I'm gonna let you say your goodbyes, man, so we can get out of here.
Hey, y'all, again, mentalmechanicsinstitute.com. My name is Eddie Estell. Y'all can reach me by email at eddie@mentalmechanicsinstitute.com. Questions, concerns, whatever y'all need to do. Thank you, Brother Keith, for having me on the booth line. It's been the booth live. It's been an awesome experience. I enjoy answering your questions, and hopefully you have me back.
No, definitely going to get you back on the show. And I'm going to put you in touch with Travis and Dougie. They both have veteran shows, and I think that decompression chamber service that you offer for veterans, I think that's great, all around awesome. So I want to get. Hey everybody, I want to thank everybody for tuning in the show. I want to thank everybody for hanging out with us. SpongeBob, do me a favor. Take us home.
Well, see you next Tuesday.
Thank you for listening to The Booth on Hoobazoo and HatcherRadio.com. Please follow the Facebook page and subscribe to the podcast at Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. The Booth is a Sinister One production hosted by Sinister One.
I've got to start hanging out with friends that are a little more intelligent and understand politics and stuff. It's just that I'm up on this level up here, and all my friends are down here. Me, nah. You guys, nah. Maybe a little more down in here. Screw you guys, I'm going home.
I smoke, I drink, I do my thing. These bitches hating, so you know I got to make it plain. Don't do cocaine with your chick, my main. We stick together, true forever, yeah, you know we bang. I miss those days, which was easy. If only I make it, this don't repeat. Now that I done upgraded, I've been upstate, and y'all think I'm playing. And I got a hit now for these weak assholes who think I ain't slaying. Try me. And I'll probably act a clean bitch like I'm my own now. I get hurt, I get tired of fussing, fighting, guess I gotta crack down. Don't mess with me, 'cause on everything I'ma have to bring the whole city out.
WHOOBAZOO, that's Hoobazoo.com.
Enter website, enter website, enter website, enter website.